you think the game is changing? Because, you know,
Yes.
yeah, I mean, you know, I've only been playing for 18 months, and, you know, serve deep, return deep, you get to the no volley zone, you know, get into dinking rallies and stuff like that. People are saying it's getting a bit more power, being more banging in it, but I think the pros are probably a bit more precise about when they're banging and they're playing all the shots maybe at harder and better and faster speeds. But
yeah, I don't know how much you keep up with the paddle technology.
Well,
and all that kind of
had Lloyd on,
kind of stuff.
so Lloyd did give me a lesson in paddle. So if you do watch Lloyd, which is out, because when this goes out, it'll already been out. But yeah, but the technology's moved on. And I was talking to Harvey today. He said that in the last 12 months, you know, I mean, these paddles are probably, like I said to Harvey, I said, this paddle. He goes, no, it's one of our best sellers, the Diadem Edge or whatever. But he goes, but it's probably it's like, I don't know, it's like a wooden tennis racket.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's been quite a lot of talk going on, and this is all America based.
Yeah.
Because that's obviously where the front of the sport is. Been a lot of chat regarding the paddle testing.
Yeah.
And how they go about that and how rigorous the testing process is. Also about the new... So they categorize paddles into kind of generations.
Right.
So the carbon paddles, which you can see both of these are, were the kind of...
Old school.
Well, they were the new technology a few years ago.
Yeah.
Gen 1 raw carbon face rather than the plastic polymer.
Yeah.
And we're now in Gen 3. So Gen 3 paddles have just been released.
Right.
And they are powerful, to say the least. So the game is moving towards power being really all important.
Think that might make the sport lose a bit of its finesse?
There's a lot of chat about how it's going to affect, you know, especially rec and social play, because
you're turning it into mini tennis.
You're turning it into mini, and if someone can hit the ball hard,
yeah.
I mean, especially if you use one of these new paddles coming up, I mean, absolute rocket launchers.
Like, really?
Yeah.
And you don't have to give added power to it either because of I suppose the ball just bounces off it very quickly.
Yeah. So
and if you do give it a little bit more,
yeah, it's interesting, but yeah, like anything, you need control to be able to use them properly, and that's why when you look at the pro level, it does affect it, for sure, but the margins are so much smaller that, you know, you can always the level always, I think, still shows through in the end. So
do you think? I mean, is this being monitored then by the sort of hierarchy as to, you know, we don't want this to take over the sport and ruin? So you know, you can go through like start losing dinking because I don't know. I hope so, because a huge part of the sport, I think. If you look at, and we've experienced this quite a few times, where we've got a few of my friends, James's friends, Louis' friends, whoever, coming from a heavy racket sport background of some description, say tennis, for example. Yeah.
And all of them are great at hitting the ball hard from the back of the court. As soon as you get to the non-kitchen line, struggle. Like, they all struggle.
Yeah.
Really, really struggle. And it's great because... they struggle and
it levels it out a bit then once you get into a dinking.
Yeah, but you know, they struggle and then they kind of see that, like, oh, okay, I kind of get it now. You know, this is actually hard.
Yeah.
But you know, if you kind of lose some of the importance of that soft game, then you're just bringing the sport closer to, I would argue, tennis, and it makes it less of a jump for a tennis player to make it in the sport than it is now.
But do you think there's a lot of doubles and mixed doubles played? Mm-hmm. But on the single side, because I asked Louis, I said, Louis, just to give one piece of advice, if you're playing singles, what's the best way to play tactically? Try be aggressive and win the point as quickly as possible. He said, you know, you don't see much dinking going on in the singles game. It is like playing mini tennis, I would assume. Yeah. Serve quick, get them moving angles, get them deep, and get control at the front, and then that's it. Put it away.
Yeah.
And the points don't last that long.
No. A tennis player can make it in professional singles pickleball.
Yeah.
Without too much struggle, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah.
Obviously, you need to practice and play, but it is quite an advantage to be able to have that background going into the singles game, especially if you're looking at, kind of indoors, no elements.
Yeah.
Then, outdoors in like hot conditions with a bit of wind, slightly different ball game. We found that
plastic ball moves around.
We found that in Naples. It took us a while took all of them a while to adjust to it.
Yeah.
Because the ball gets soft. It's not as hard anymore. Can't just fizz wind past
the heat,
people.
sort of the plastic
just softens it up. So it depends on the conditions, but for the most part, I would definitely agree with that. Yeah.
You think there'll ever be a law change? To sort of try and, I don't know, move it away from a certain area. Like, in golf, they're sort of talking about,
roll back and stuff like that.
Yeah, and things, the courses are getting longer because people driving further, technology gets better, changing the balls or doing something.
I think that... So
you don't lose the nuance of the sport.
I think there will have to be a point with the paddle technology really is where it's going to be. The ball makes a bit of a difference, but when you start to use one of the outdoor balls that they use in competition, the difference between them is a little bit, not enough to really think about changing the rules of the sport. Difference in paddles and where that's going, especially, I think there is going to be a point where they're going to have to be like, right, hang on a second here.
Because there's also, I think, I'm up. That's health and safety issues a little bit, isn't it? Because, hand-eye coordination, and certainly if you let some enthusiastic players loose, sort of wreck plays in some of the tournaments, and they start smashing the ball around. I know a lot of people don't wear safety glasses, but injuries.
I think so. Annalie Waters, the number one female player in the world, put on social media, I think it was a month or two ago, if you're not wearing glasses, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And I haven't quite got my head round that yet, but I think definitely in the playing reps.
Certainly, I think with doubles, I mean, people saying it's not so much your opponents, it's you the ball coming off your opponent or their paddle or you hitting yourself, and anything to try and stop it. So, but I think there you go. Get a nice sponsor, maybe get Ray-Bans or someone to sponsor you.
Ray-Ban make pickleball goggles.
Hey, why not? Do they? There must be something in America, one of the leagues, isn't it? They must have sponsorship with Oakley or someone like that.
Probably, yeah. They've got sponsors with
everybody. If there's any sponsors out there wanting to try out, Freddie will try them out for you. The thing is, you don't need them in. Well, the sunglasses, it'd be fine outdoors, isn't it? But not here.
Yeah, if you've got sunglass pickleball goggles, like polarized pickleball goggles.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, that could be it.
It's cool as well.
Well, yeah.
Are you a colours man? Because Louis likes a bit of a colour, doesn't he?
No, definitely not. We have consistent arguments as to what we're going to wear on doubles day.
Not pink.
I agree that we have to match.
Right.
But his idea of what a great outfit is and my idea of what a great outfit is could not be further apart. So we've now decided that we're going to take it in turns choosing outfits for a tournament.
Do you have to wear the same colour partners in doubles? Is that a rule?
Someone told me that it was now kind of a rule in America. Yeah. I know that you're not allowed to wear yellow or anything the same colour as the ball.
Well, yeah.
But I think you have to try and match-ish. I don't really know why, but...
So going back to America then, you were saying there's two leagues. So there's the Professional Pickleball Association or PPA, and then there's the
Association
APB.
of Pickleball Professionals, yeah.
And they are two separately professional leagues run separately. So is that a little bit like, the PGA and Live? Is it something like that?
Yeah.
Or in darts, you used to have two darts people.
Yeah,
you used to have the PDC and the other one,
Yeah. Yes is the answer to that. the amount of resources and the focus of each league is a bit different, I would say.
Right.
The PPA is very focused on having the absolute top players all on their tour.
Right.
The APP have got a lot of very good pros playing on that tour.
Yeah.
But they're less exclusive. So if you play on the PPA tour, you cannot play any other tournaments. So if you were signed to the PPA, you can come and play the English Open, for example.
You can't.
No. Whereas a lot of the AP, so some of the APP players,
so they wouldn't be able to go and
came
play in
over
India?
and played. Pardon? No, no.
So no other world tour.
No. They're exclusive deal to play for the PPA. Whereas the APP players, so for example, Megan Fudge, Ryla DeHart, came and played the English Open last year. The next gen team, they can all come and do that because they're on the APP tour.
So doesn't that suggest at some point that there's going to be some fantastic players developing in other countries throughout the world, that the best of the best, if you're only playing one league at some point, I mean, I don't know all the top players, but Tyson, is he the number one?
No, Ben Johns.
Ben Johns. And he plays for?
PPA.
And Tyson plays for PPA?
Yep.
So, they're never going to...
No, and that only goes for the top players.
Right.
So only the top players of the PPA have got that deal.
Right.
So I could play a PPA tournament whenever, next week.
Okay.
And I'd be in qualies and I could qualify and play and I could go and play something else. But I'm not contracted to them. The top players have signed contracts with the PPA.
Solely to be with the PPA
Yes.
too. So they are the face of the sport.
Yeah.
Is that a good thing? Obviously, maybe for them.
I don't know.
It's their living, isn't it?
I've got mixed feelings about it. But yeah, it's there are definitely things in the works coming worldwide, globally on the pickleball front from a league perspective, from a team perspective. So
like a world league.
There've been a few chats about something like that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sit and wait for it to actually happen. But it'd
be great though. It'd be exciting. Wouldn't it?
It's exciting to be at the and this is what I've said multiple times. It's exciting to be at the front of something.
Yeah.
In this country, in Europe. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
What do you need over here then? Do we need sort of some big benefactors?
Yeah.
Basically money.
Yeah.
So that you guys could concentrate on what you're doing. And if we're going to compete against the world.
That and also just the facilities and the funding to get those facilities in the first place. I mean, if you look at, arguably myself, Louis and James are the three top players in the country.
Which order?
In the same.
Which order would you put them, Freddie?
Varying orders.
I only know the three of you. I've never met James. I've met Louis. I've met yourself now.
Yeah.
Just from what I've picked up, I would put James as number one. Mm-hmm. Then 2 and 3 would be between you and Louis, obviously.
So James is the best singles player.
Yeah.
And I'd put myself and Louis
on
the doubles.
On doubles.
Yeah. Controversial statement.
Well, no, look.
But there we go.
Well, your singles rating is higher than your doubles rating.
Yeah.
Like currently, you're 5.5.
Yeah, that's what happens when you play every tournament with Louis, who's got a 5.9 duper. So, but no, it's fine.
So the more times you play James in singles is good though, isn't it? Because if you beat him, your rating is going to go up.
Beat him last time.
You did, you. So you're in. So for him to get 6, is that on the back of the US Open then? Because of the
back of Miami and US Open.
Yeah. So the players he was playing. So would they all be 6+ then in the Open now? People that he's playing, their ratings.
Yeah. He beat a guy who's like 6'6".
Right.
So, yeah.
So just for context for people though, so someone like Tyson and Ben Johns, what would their rating be?
So Ben Johns has, I think, the highest rating in world pickleball of both singles and doubles. So I think he's a 7.1 or something like that. Anyone who is, I think now anyone who's a 5.5 and above, you'd probably class as a pro. I think personally, I think anyone who's a 6.0 and above, you'd classify as a professional.
In America?
Yeah.
Not
in America. Yeah. So, yeah. Like in actual fact, James is probably a 6'4"-ish singles player. If he was playing consistently in America, I think that's where his rating would be.
So that's the problem for him now, isn't it? Because he's a 6, but he could quite easily quite drop, isn't it? Because if he's going to play,
well, if he loses to anybody in Europe, he's going to go down.
Yeah, which is mad.
So,
but you're not.
But that's always been our problem, that we can't really go up.
But you don't have to have a certain. Do the rating matter when you're trying to qualify for tournaments? I mean, does that mean you have to go into pre-quals and qualifiers because your rating's not high enough?
So no, I think the way they did that was on actual points, which obviously we don't have any because we don't play in America. So that was kind of the same anyway.
Oh,
but
so you get points for winning stuff.
Yeah. So for example, now, well, not myself because I didn't play because I got injured, but for singles at least, I will have at least some points for getting to the second round of qualies.
Right.
Of that Miami tournament. That might now put me as a seed in qualies or pre-qualies. I'm not sure. For a slightly smaller tournament.
So there's a pre-qualifier, a qualifier, and then the main.
For that one. So that tournament, the Miami one was a major. It was a big tournament. Right. So yeah.
A lot of pickleball then, just to get round to this sort of main round.
Yeah. But that was good.
The journey, yeah. So develop more players, get more competitions against better people, makes you a better player.
Yeah, and this is another thing that I would say as well. So I know Louis and James's game off by heart, inside out. Yeah. I know what they do well, I know what they do badly. Well, they don't do anything badly, but I know what. But either of them are good.
You know all their shots.
I know all their shots. Now
you know their strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah. So even though we get to play against each other, which is a good level, high level, comparable to the States, great. We only ever play against each other. You don't play against anybody else at the same level, but with different skill sets.
Yeah.
So now you go to America and you're playing against a lot of different people, all at that level.
Yeah.
But they're doing things that you've never seen before, purely because you've only just used to Louis hitting a backhand counter at you the whole time.
Yeah.
And James ripping forehands from the back of the court.
Yeah.
People do things differently. So
yeah.
And if you've got no experience of that, you only really, in practice, I'd only really practice speeding it up to Louis' forehand because whereas, other people, that's their strength. And
you can only work on your core skills, and yet you only learn when you play better people, don't you?
Yeah.
Any sport you get better at.
So when we go to these
and
tournaments,
get coached at as well.
When we go to these tournaments, it's almost like a training week.
Yeah.
For us. Because we get to play against all these people, which we never get to usually play against.
And who's coaching you guys?
No.
That would help as well. So investing in coaches coming, high level coaches come in and
but helping. I mean, we don't have that really. Yeah, I mean, it's funny whenever the each of us are playing, the others coach. So whenever
it's always easy sitting on the side.
No,
wrong.
It actually is though. I mean, it is easier to watch on the side, but if you ask who our coaches are, we don't have coaches. But if we're all going to a tournament together, we'll all be each other's coaches. If we're not playing, which is quite funny.
Well, I watched the finals at Lee Valley on the stream.
Yeah.
And I was being critical because Thaddeus come and done about 3 coaching sessions down our place, and Louis coming down to do it. And she's been brilliant. And I was being really critical of watching in the Dream Breakers. And I was going, so each one of you got a different strategy here. And I was thinking, well, so some are attacking and going up and following up, and then there's others just playing long baseline sort of pickleball. And I was going, that doesn't seem right, because it looks like, I don't know, they didn't seem that, and I was being really critical. If I see Thaddeus, I'm going to have a word. Saying, why didn't they do this? But she said, look, it's all about development, which is great. But that's the thing, isn't it? We can all be critiques. We sit here watch football. I mean, look, come on, you're a Chelsea fan, apparently, aren't you?
I am a Chelsea fan. Yeah.
Tell me, how did that come about?
My dad didn't give me a choice.
Hang on, so you were born in America.
Yeah, right?
There we go. And Dad obviously...
My dad's dad grew up in
London.
In London. Yeah.
And so it was Chelsea Blue all the way through.
Yep.
So was it the Shed or the firm?
Shed End.
Shed End. There's a lot of troubles in the past there, wasn't there? It was. So you didn't have a choice growing up?
No.
So when you were born here,
I was very happy.
We were a Chelsea baby growing.
We were season ticket holders until... so we used to live in Petersfield.
Right.
near
Harvey
Winchester.
Country. This is where Diadem live.
Near Winchester, yeah. So we used to have season tickets for Chelsea when we lived there.
Okay.
I was a mascot when I was 7.
Nice.
Yeah. So.
Well, I was up.
Fan.
I did go up there and watch them play against Dortmund. I did, yeah, in the Euros, in the Champions League. The day that you guys won early on in the season, I think. Who was managing then? Was it? It was last season, I think. Was it all this season? Did you play Dortmund this year? Or was it last year? It must have been last year at Chelsea in the Champions League, and you won 2-1. I think it was.
Yeah, I think it was last year.
No, it was. Yeah, because Jude Bellingham was playing for Dortmund.
Yeah, definitely last year.
No, Mikey, my younger, one of the OG boys, he took me up there. And this is funny because they don't court fame at all. These guys, you know, they've got over 3 million followers across all the different genres. And we were standing in a burger van waiting for a burger, and there was 2 Americans in front of us, a dad and a son, and had a sort of Dortmund and a Chelsea scarf on, and we sort of just said hello. And he said, "Oh, are you over here to support Chelsea?" He said, "Nah, we're here because we love football, but we're Tottenham fans. But we're going to see the Tottenham at the weekend." And we were just standing there, and then when my son went off to get some relish on his burger, and the kid went over with him, and he looked at him and he said, "Has anyone said you look like one of the Ogie boys?" And Mikey just said, yeah, that's me and my brother. They were from LA, you know, and he was like,
really?
Yeah. You've been spotted, and he's like, complete stranger. And it's like, you know, but I said to him, Mike, if you think about it, whatever, there's 40,000 people and you've got 3 million followers at Chelsea. You know, that's a lot of stadiums. And there's
when you think of it like that, it's actually crazy.
It's mad because you can't imagine what 3 million people is. You know?
No.
Well, do you know the thing about 1 million and 1 billion, like with seconds and days, isn't it? So like 1 million is 3 days and ridiculous. 1 billion is 35 years or something. Yeah. So if you're a millionaire, a billionaire. So that is madness. Yeah. So do you get a chance to go and see him or?
Yep. So
are you an avid fan?
I work in Roehampton Club.
Oh yeah, you're just down the road and
Parsons Green. Just down the road. Yeah.
Station is the best one I think to get to.
Broadway. Yeah. But my co-worker who works with me, he is a season ticket holder, and I've been with him a couple of times. So
how would you? So this is why I had the name. So what a pickle Chelsea have been in. See, did you see that? Did you see that link? See, this is why. If this,
I mean, I knew it was going to come up.
If the pickleball just goes,
you've been hinting at the jokes for the last. But
if the pickleball goes, you know, then we can talk about other sports.
Yeah, I don't know why you're smiling, being a Tottenham fan though.
I'm not a Tottenham fan. I'm a Liverpool fan.
Oh, you're a Liverpool fan.
Oh yeah, I know. So I'm not a Tottenham fan. Well, come on. I mean, look, we weren't expected to even get where we got this season. Then you brand new midfield.
But then you got there.
Well, we got there. We got to third.
And we're not there anymore.
No, we're not there anymore. And Klopp's going, which was a very sad moment.
Yeah.
But I've been listening to a lot of talk sport stuff, and I think you're well, personally, I think Poch has done a great job.
Absolutely. He's had mixed reviews throughout the season. I think he's cut a very frustrated figure.
Yeah.
The entire year. I don't think that as I'm a Chelsea fan.
Yeah.
You know, I'd be stupid to say that the Chelsea job is easy. I think the Chelsea job is probably one of the hardest managerial jobs in the Prem, the last few years anyway. Or
United might be different.
Yeah, well. I mean, again, just 2 jobs where you look at and you're like, poor.
Boys and chalice.
Yeah, exactly. And I think considering he's done all right, he, as I said, he's been very frustrated throughout the year, I think, with the performances from the players.
Yeah.
But the last couple of weeks, you can see that he's been a lot happier in his
got 2 games
press
left.
Conferences. Yeah,
you win those, you get to Europe.
Europe, I know. That's not something that we were envisioning.
No, and that's got to be progress when you think at the beginning of the season.
Oh yeah,
I mean fans are quite fickle, aren't they?
And my gosh, so fickle.
You know, I mean, I know I'm a Liverpool fan, but at the beginning of the season, everyone's going, well, you got a brand new midfield. You know, if you do well to get in the top 5, and you know, to be 2 weeks ago in contention of winning it. And then just losing 2 games on the bounce or whatever, and then it just throws it out the window. But to be amongst it, and now I've got Champions League football, which has got to be progress from last year, because you didn't. You were Europa League, and then win a cup. And, so people don't see that. You know, if you are inside of sport, isn't it? What is progress? I mean, if take it back to the PPL. I mean, last year you one division, 6 teams. Season 2, 3 divisions. With Masters and that, and will there be 6 teams in each?
Yeah.
So that's progress, isn't it? And
oh my gosh,
there new faces in the Premier League.
Yeah. A lot of new faces. We've had the draft open for a while.
Yeah.
And I've been looking at my spreadsheet.
So is that going to upset some of the players that played last year? Or were they told, look, no one's
been told anything. I mean,
no one's guaranteed a spot.
Everyone knows that you get in on merit.
Right.
You get in on being picked.
Right.
If you don't necessarily show the performances that would get you into a team next year, that's the way it goes. I mean, we're trying to create a professionally minded league.
Yeah.
Where, if you're in a Premier team, you take this seriously. And
is there going to be prize money?
Yep. The prize money is something that we've not taken the same route on as, say, the America has and whacked a load in to begin with to try and raise the profile of the sport. We're really trying to use any money that we make through sponsorships, through sign-ups and that, and put it back into the actual product and the production of the event.
Yeah.
Whether that is the court, the live streaming service, the host on Tennis Channel, which I think was a great addition to the event of the finale.
Yeah.
Because we want to create a professional product.
Yeah.
Will
you attract people?
And the thing is, we don't need a big pot of prize money, because the attractiveness of the league for everyone in this country as an opportunity to play against the best people consistently throughout the year, be part of a team, and have a chance of winning something is draw enough.
You've got to look at the big picture there, haven't you? Eventually, because
currently,
I mean, you're probably not even in your prime yet. 25. You've still got many years to go.
Yeah.
Thadia's a bit older, and she's still a top player, and for her, but
I'm the young'un.
You're a young'un.
Yeah.
And but it's like anything. It's any team. You've got to have people coming up the rank, because otherwise there could be a void, isn't there?
And that's part of the reason we've got the Challenger League.
I mean, you get injured. There's not many of you at that level.
Yeah.
Take one of you out. It's not like 0.1%, isn't it? It's like you've taken 10% of your talent out, and you're out for some time, and you're a personality. You've got character.
Thank you.
I had to say that because on here. But it is, and it's important in any sport to have personality. People that are personable. Yeah. People fun to watch.
And that's something that I tried. I've always,
it's really important.
I've always tried to create that.
Yeah.
Whether it's playing at Nationals, English Open, I always try to have the most fun out of everybody on the court.
But how do we get the youngsters involved? When I talk about youngsters, I mean, I'm talking,
young
grassroots, like in any sport.
Yeah, I think that
even football still hasn't got it right.
That comes back to the facilities point again.
But all schools have sports halls. Most schools have sports halls.
And around the Roehampton area, we've seen, I know a few people who are members at the club work in schools, and they have started doing pickleball sessions. Now, this is something that kind of links back to the LTA / Pickleball England debate, which is Louis and I run the kids' camps at Roehampton and do, some pickleball classes and stuff. And it's a lot easier for kids to hit the pickleball than it is for them to hit a tennis ball. Yeah. Fairly similar to like a sponge ball or something like that. But this is where the LTA might be seeing it as a pathway to tennis.
Yeah. Get there, that way, get there, go that way, get there, go that way.
Rather than its own sport. I don't have any problem with people, playing pickleball and then moving to tennis or vice versa. But I think it needs to still be recognised. But on its own.
Do you not think that tennis, I don't think, is that accessible in this country?
No.
So it becomes what I think is an elitist sport. So, a privileged sport in some ways that, I mean, it's sort of like rugby has been like that because of it was only ever played at public schools and not in state schools. And then if you have that, to get into tennis, if you're good, someone might see you and then you go through that pathway. But if you're just playing tennis for fun at an early age, it's hard. Whereas pickleball, how I see it, and it's my own personal view, is all schools have got sports halls. It's a great way to get kids to do something.
Yeah.
I think it's brilliant for your mental health.
Yeah.
It's great for your hand-eye coordination. I mean, watched a video. The guy said, I think one of the videos, I think American guy was talking about, even when you're warming up, he said, when you're standing around, he said, just hit the ball on the ground for a few minutes, just to feel the center of the pedal. And then he said, then he said, bounce it and then bounce it on the edge. He said, because you're just getting your brain engaged with
Fish, chips, ketchup.
Hey?
Fish, chips, ketchup.
Is that, what's that?
Fish, chips, ketchup.
Okay. Is that what you call it?
Classic mini tennis.
Okay.
Yeah, little game.
To get the brain engaged and get that cognitive thought function going.
Yep. I think pickleball, I mean, in schools, you're not trying to teach people to become professional athletes. You just want them to be able to do something that they can enjoy quickly.
Yeah.
Because the goal is to have them enjoy sport.
Yeah.
And do sport. And pickleball is perfect because it's the most accessible. It's the easiest to just get to a level where you can play it.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if you try to teach a school kid to play tennis from nothing, the odds of them enjoying it are like zero because it's so hard.
Yeah.
To begin with, unless you've got some rackets.
I know rackets are slightly smaller, but it's still a hard thing to hold as an extension of your arm. And
100%.
this thing is just an extension 100%. Of your hand. Isn't
so
it?
In schools, I think it's got potential to be honestly.
So how do we? Yeah, this is the
I mean,
how do we get that message
the
across?
knowledge of the sport? Personally, I've seen an uptake in just the general public knowing what it is. I don't know about you, but if I now talk to people, I would say the majority of people who I bring pickleball up to at least know what it is or have heard of it.
Yeah.
And I would say that is different to a year ago.
Yeah, because there was some talk about the name, wasn't it? Like, is that a crazy name? But I think it's great. You've got something unique. Pickleball it's out there. Yeah. What would you change the name to to make it more? It's great, and also it's a conversation point, isn't it? So pickleball, you play that, and I've said that a lot of times to people. Pickleball, and then actually was in the shop. Actually, a guy who printed these for us, and I was in there, and he goes, "Oh, what's that?" And I said, "Have you ever heard of pickleball?" And he went, "Funny, I have actually, because they tried it at my son's school." And I was like, "Well, hey,
there you go."
That's right. We were doing things off our phones, so the boys have got one, and I got one, so we got that. So it just looks a bit better on the camera, and then we just stick some notes on the back.
That looks great.
Just we're trying to be professional, you see.
It looks great, honestly.
And I have to give a big shout out to Harvey and Diadem who do support the podcast. But no, I just love to see it in the schools more. And then, like anything, isn't it? When you try something, eventually, if you have a pathway, and you shouldn't be restricted in going down a different direction. I don't know. What other sports, or do you have, I suppose, do you have time for other sports?
I still play tennis. So I kind of got back into tennis when I started at Roehampton Club as coach, and I'm the club hitter. So
with that and that, no, you're not.
Well, this is now fine.
That's fine.
So yeah, because I didn't play for like a year and a half, so that kind of did it, and I don't play at the same
level,
nowhere near the same intensity as I used to, which was the problem.
Yeah. Right.
Obviously the foot is not very conducive to sport in general, but when I come back, I'll be back on the tennis court. I mean, I play more tennis than I do pickleball. So
is that because it's accessible?
Well, it's because it's my job. I play tennis all day.
Right.
I'm on the tennis court either coaching or hitting.
Right.
Mainly hitting, which is playing the sport. I mean, in the winter, our core group, myself, Louis, James, Thadia, Pay, Hermione, a few smashing others, as I said.
Yeah.
We play on Thursday evening at Roehampton for 2 hours.
And that's it. And that's your training.
That's the training. That's it. Louis and I run pickleball sessions on Thursday at Roehampton. It's not playing, just running the session. But during the summer, we're now starting to, we're going to play Imber Court or Chiswick or where there are some actual outdoor courts. But again, the amount that we play, the amount that we play is completely minimal compared to everybody else. Which
really, where you're at in the world at the moment is brilliant, really, considering the lack of facility training and playing that you do.
Yeah, I mean,
people probably don't realise how well James did then, do they?
No, they don't.
That achievement was massive.
And Louis as well. I mean, so for example, not this year, last year, Louis came, I think it was 7th in the men's doubles. And 7th in men's doubles.
Where in the US?
US Open.
Wow.
Which, so
Well, that's quarterfinals, isn't it? Last 8?
It's slightly different because you go through the back draw. So if you lose early, you go through the back draw, and they won a few matches in the back draw.
Right.
And that's what James did.
Right.
So James lost first round and then won 4 matches in the back draw or something like that.
Right.
But what we've seen, and like last year, so last year was the first tournament I played where there were some really good people. That was the English Open last year. I got to the quarterfinal and played a guy called Jack Foster, who just won the US Open singles this last week, or a few weeks ago. And I lost in 3. I won the first set and lost the next 2 sets, but it was really competitive and it was a great game.
Yeah.
Our singles level is absolutely there, on par with America.
Okay.
James, myself, Louis, we can all beat pretty much anybody when we like.
On your day.
I feel like I can beat anybody
on your day.
100%.
Yeah.
And I actually, genuinely believe that, and so does James especially. Louis has his confidence issues with singles sometimes, but he does have some level in there. Doubles, different sport, different ball game. And as I said, that's where we struggle on the practice front, because we can practice against singles against each other.
Yeah.
Because
you and Louis can play every day against each other, can you?
Well, we can't because we've got jobs.
But when you finish work, play for an hour maybe or something. But
but we have to tape up the court.
Yeah.
We have to rent the court because we're not allowed, as staff, we're not allowed to use the court, the tennis committee. We're not allowed to put pickleball court on. We can only do it 1 day a week. So you say that we can play, but we can't play every day. Otherwise, we'd be playing every day.
Yeah, of course.
But, in singles, we can practice. I can practice hitting backhand down the line winners, because it doesn't matter if I'm playing James, Louis, or Ben Johns. If I hit a backhand winner down the line, flush on the line, that's going to beat anybody.
Yeah.
Whereas if we're playing doubles against each other and I hit a speed up to Louis' forehand because he sits backhand, it'll work against Louis. I now play against Ben Johns. It's not going to work against Ben Johns.
No.
So it's a different skill set. And the fact that Louis managed to come 7th in men's doubles in the US Open was
phenomenal.
Really, really impressive. And that was before any of us had ever gone over there. So, yeah. Now, the level obviously increases each year. And watching James beat everyone in singles was very satisfying. And he was obviously,
Imagine if he didn't have a full-time job.
Imagine if any of us had a full-time job.
Well, yeah. World's your oyster, isn't it? Mm. So where would you like to be in 5 years?
Where would I like to be in 5 years?
Married, kids, down the sandbanks? No. No. No.
No, I'm thinking on the career side, ideally, I guess it would be playing professional pickleball and having business interests in it. I mean, we've already started PPL, but from a personal standpoint, probably doing something on my own as well.
Yeah.
I feel like there are so many opportunities in pickleball.
Agree.
That, and obviously there's the option of me to go to America. I've got an American passport.
Yeah.
I could move there tomorrow.
Yeah.
And try and make it, but I go from being, relatively
big fish in a small
fish to being a very small fish.
Yeah.
So.
But you could be part of this journey.
Yeah.
And then Britain's number 1.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, ideally that would be the goal. I think it's very difficult, and this is actually a problem in pickleball in general, is the ranking/rating system.
What, Dupra?
Well, for us, Dupra's an issue because we
level?
Can't go up unless we go to America.
Yeah.
That is the simple fact.
You've reached the ceiling, haven't you?
We've reached the ceiling.
Yeah.
Unless I beat James 6 times, in a year, I'm not really going to go up that much. No. Same with James, same with Louis. Unless we all beat each other consistently.
The problem is, though, if you beat James once, his rating will drop a little bit.
A tiny bit. I'll go up a little bit. But that's only now that he's beaten people in America. And now, because before we went to America, he was the same level as us.
But at some point, you'll just plateau again, wouldn't you? So you wouldn't go beyond that. Because James he'd lose his 6 rating, you wouldn't go beyond that.
James cannot go up.
No.
Is it actually impossible for him to go up in Europe because he's got the highest Duper?
Oh, so anybody at Madrid?
No. James loses any match, he'll go down.
Oh gosh.
But I mean, as I said,
but that doesn't. I suppose it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't really. But as I said, that's the problem that we've got. So when you say Britain's number 1, it's very difficult to categorically be the number. And also because singles and doubles are so different. Yeah, that's partly why pickleball's great.
Yeah.
Singles and doubles are genuinely different sports. You know, the guy who won the US Open singles didn't make it out of first round in
the doubles.
In doubles.
Well, yeah, because there is. I suppose there's a more cultured part of the game in doubles, isn't it? With a lot more dinking and stuff like that, which is
completely different skill set.
Now, Rob made it quoted on here, Mr. Williams. Do you know Rob? You must know Rob.
I do know Rob. Yeah,
the voice of pickleball.
Yeah, he loves it.
Anyway, he does. And
to be honest, fair play to Rob.
He's very good.
Great.
And I have asked
he's been doing a great job on commentary for the PPL as well.
I have asked him if I can have a go as well. So,
nice.
I'd love to have a go.
Yeah, great.
And I spoke to Ed about that as well. No, but Rob said pickleball's a bit like chess for him. He's thinking 9 shots ahead. Now
it's a classic.
Louis laughed. That's a classic Rob line.
We've had a few discussions about that line.
Louis said, "I don't think that far ahead." You know.
No, I don't think any rally I've ever been a part of has made it to 9 shots.
But you might subconsciously be thinking of things, going on without thinking. Putting a number on it.
Without putting a number on it, definitely where he's going with that comment is a big difference between your good level amateur and pro is I say we're all at the kitchen line and you're dinking.
Yeah.
If I'm a really good amateur, I'll hit speed up and try and win the point.
Yeah.
If I'm a really good pro, I'll hit a speed up to your right hip where you've got to come across, pop it up, I'll be ready and then smash it past you.
Chicken wing,
You need to develop patterns of play that work for you and work with what you're good at and what they're not good at.
Yeah.
Now that is thinking 2-3 shots ahead.
Yeah.
I would argue anything more than 2 or 3 shots ahead, you're clutching at straws a little bit.
Yeah. No.
But
certainly in singles you don't get to 9 shots, do you?
Singles I don't get to 4 shots. If you watch me and James play the Nationals singles final.
Yeah. Last year.
I think maybe we had 1 or 2 rallies that got past 5
Did you win that last year?
No.
So you lost to James in the final?
Yeah.
So you're after him this year?
Yeah. I've lost in the final of the singles last 2 years.
Have you?
But I won the doubles the last 2 years. So.
Oh, well, I'm up there. This is my first entry into the Open this year, so I'm going to...
The Open. The English Open is... Have you been to...
No. Been to festivals.
It will blow you away.
There's everyone that's within our club who's been up. They said it's grown since last year.
It will blow you away.
He said it's just fantastic. It's just
genuinely.
It's not just the pickleball.
It blew us away. I mean, to see that many courts, and that many people just all in one place in Telford. But I mean, the actual venue itself was unbelievable. I mean, the show court had 200 people in a big stand.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, what a place. So we were all shocked. I mean, that was the most real, legit thing that we'd ever done in pickleball. So
nice feeling.
Yeah.
It was a good crowd.
Would have been better if I'd won the quarterfinal, but
you lost the quarterfinal.
Yeah, that was the singles. And Louis and I lost in 3 in the quarterfinal to Jack in the singles, and then Louis and I lost in the quarterfinal of the doubles in 3 to some Americans as well. So yeah, not ideal.
Well, you got to get fit and get out there.
Yeah, get my foot sorted.
I think we're nearly up. I think we've been chatting for, oh my goodness, an hour and a quarter, this is what I love about this.
No, you're fine.
You're good. There was a few things like here. I mean, have you played paddle? Have you tried it?
I've played it a couple of times. Yep.
Like it?
Really enjoy it.
It is good. I tried it down in Cornwall.
I really enjoy it. The only thing I don't like about it, and this is something that you kind of alluded to earlier, I like being able to just, hit winners and be flair. I feel like there's not much flair going on in paddle because it's so hard to win the point. Like,
because
the ball keeps coming back
off the wall again. Yeah.
So, and I feel like you can always bail yourself out by just lobbing the whole time. So I do really enjoy it, and I loved it last time I played it, and I do want to play more.
Yeah.
But I prefer pickleball.
I think there's room for all these sports, though, don't you? I just think if people just got together around a table and said, "Look, let's just work on this. This is it's for the bigger cause." But who am I to say? Funny moments. Had any?
Louis getting hit in the nuts when he was reffing the Nationals was a personal highlight, and I think a highlight for everybody involved. Dave Youngs in the final of the 50+ singles couldn't make a drop shot. As he got to the drop shot, don't know why, decided to hit the ball as hard as he could, straight at Louis in the jewels. If you haven't seen the video, I implore you to go and look at it. It'll be on Louis' socials somewhere.
Will it?
I've got it. I can show it to you if you want.
You can send it to us, will you?
I
could share that with the club. It'd be great.
Absolute comedy.
Because it would be nice to introduce Louis to the club because he's coming down to do some coaching in July.
Nice.
So I could share that with the club members and say, look, for those of you, this is
Louis'
best moment.
He's actually got a low light reel of him getting tagged multiple times. Because even though he loves to say he's got the fastest hands, and his hands are fast, he also does get hit a lot. In practice, in matches, he's always the one to get...
Is that because he's everywhere?
No, not really.
No.
I don't really know why, to be honest with you, but he always just does get hit.
But that's a low light reel.
Yes.
And I was told here that Freddie loves the highlight reel.
Oh, yeah. Love a highlight reel.
Highlight reel shot. Yeah.
We all love a highlight reel. But yes, yeah, I do love a highlight reel. And that has been the same throughout my life. I mean, my mum said, I remember when I was playing tennis, and this, you can kind of see where my mentality was a bit of an issue here. But I'd play a tennis match and I'd lose 3-3, and I'd come off, and my mum would be like, "Oh, unlucky, what happened?" And I was like, "Yeah, but did you see that backhand winner I hit?" And she'd be like, "Not really what you should be focusing on, but that's just what my mentality
But isn't that the joy of sports like golf? You can have a nightmare round, but you do one. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Did you see me chip in?
That's exactly what I say. Every time I play golf, every time I come off, I'm like, guys.
Don't worry about the score.
Don't worry about the 96.
Did you see my 30-foot putt and my chip in? Yeah,
exactly. And that's all. And that's why I play sport. So
exactly. That's my ATP. Did you see that? It doesn't matter about the rest. What, I lost 11-1. I don't care. Yeah, that's brilliant. What was I going to say? I think we're done.
Cool.
I really enjoyed this. Thank you ever so much,
Good.
Freddie.
Thank you for having me. Genuinely,
you're more than welcome.
Yeah, it's been great.